Hey guys, welcome here. Welcome back to another video. Now today we are going to be continuing ranking every single dungeon in WoW. So I believe we went off on the Trial of the Champion in the last video, and in this video we're starting with the other side. But the other side, it is really annoying to navigate with the two seasonal affixes we've had so far, which are Prideful and Tormented. And if you don't know what the strategy is for it, is you basically run around in each of the four wings, you kill the four lieutenant bosses and you get their powers, then you essentially backtrack the whole dungeon, which is really stupid. I mean, it's such a big it's such a big time waster, excuse me. And I've never timed a key where we use that strat. It's just fucking stupid. Yeah, all the different wings are really cool, especially the Ardenweald one, or as I call it, Pad Paradise, because of how many mobs you can accidentally pull in there, whilst not wiping, which is the kind of the good thing that the Motherlode does not represent, and one of the other dungeons, which I believe we're going to get to somewhere in this video. But Muzella was really cool. I will say that. The Nexus. Nexus is a very average dungeon, but it took way too fucking long. I'll be honest. And the faction difference in this dungeon was kind of meh. This is heroic anyway. When you get different in this part, you get different mobs depending on what faction you are. The main annoyance is obviously the berserkers, and I believe they're called the rangers. Although they're fucking whirlwinds and their knockback mechanics is just not fun. However, seeing the breach, whatever is the breach in the Nexus, and you got all the little arcane worms and the Azure Drakes fighting up in the sky, looks really cool. And then Anomalous is just the most boring fight in the Lich King, I'm not gonna lie. It just got so boring super quickly, so that's why this is up on the list. Next one I'm going to put is Opening of the Dark Portal. Now this is not a very good dungeon at all. Like, running around in the swamp is just not, it just didn't look very good. However, they did use the Infinite Dragonflight, which are just my favourite type of dragons of all time. I love the Infinite Dragonflight, which is why I like the Infinite Time Weaver as well. I'm really happy that I have that mount. But these kind of dungeons are not hard at all. I think they sort of learned their lesson from doing Battle of Mount Hyjal, where if you wipe on the boss, you have to do the trash all over again. But that never ever happened on Opening of the Dark Portal. Maybe it does on Time Walking, because the last boss, Aeonis, I believe, does pack a bit of a challenge if people don't know what they're doing. But ultimately, you can just bum rush through it. Freehold. I do not like the freeholds. Similar issue to the Motherlode. Just very easy to pull packs on accident, and it was just so annoying on like certain Mythic Plus affixes. Why is the thing not showing? I'm sorry about that. It's just very hard to navigate through certain affixes like Bolstering, Sanguine, and just, yeah, no. Freehold is a big no. Especially with the Awakened affix, it was just really weird. I mean, I know that Awakened does give you a bit of an advantage. There we go. There's the footage. But the way you played Awakened and that dungeon, this is the Season 4 Mythic Plus affix and BFA. It just felt very weird, and the mobs that you had to kill were just so like out of order pretty much. Like, you had to go off the sides and get dudes off the side of the ring of booty. So just overall it's not a good dungeon, and especially the first part of the dungeon where you got this bird pooping everywhere is just really annoying. It did so much damage on high key levels, and it slowed you to hell. And especially the first boss on very high tyrannical keys, it was just very difficult and very dangerous. Like, I don't know, it did a lot of damage if you did it on like a 15 or higher with the pistol shot and then the pooping and then the dive bomb on top of it. no, it's just not a good dungeon. However, the only good thing about it is the Ring of Booty, where you got this ogre with sharks on his hands or on his arms. And that just looked really fucking cool. Even though the sharks were really annoying to dodge and really annoying to play around, I still very much like that boss. Not so much the Highland Suite though. It felt kind of cramped in space because of the way you had to play it. Shannon Battlegrounds. This dungeon definitely feels like and looks like a burial grounds, just like Preach said in his video. And it has mobs that make sense. You know, you got ghosts, you got spiders, you got bats, you got skeletons of those dead orcs. It just felt very, very right. Like, it looked very, very cool. Playing through it wasn't the best. Except for maybe the big worm dudes. I know the fact that they brought up the worm trash, and then they would come back during the worm fight, I suppose, was kind of a cool idea. And them using the idea of like replicating abilities, or sorry, duplicating abilities. So they're happening all at the same time. So he's doing 2 or 3 slams at the same time. That was just really, really cool. Bloodhole Slag Mines. This is back-to-back Draenor dungeons. Not a very big fan of Bloodhole Slag Mines, but like Shadow and Burial Grounds, it definitely nailed the idea. I mean, yes, it is a slag mines, but it is also like a kind of like a slave pens, but done so right. You know, you got you got slaves that are breaking out, trying to cause all kinds of trouble, and then you got the thing with the fire elementals that are trying to, you know, cause damage to the ogres, obviously, as on the second boss. And I really do like the part where you find Croman and you help him get his weapon, and then you kill the last boss and you get him as a follower, which I thought was quite cool. If you don't know who Croman is, he's one of the guys that came with you in the introductory Tanan Jungle. He was there somewhere, and his dead body wasn't on the run to the boat at the very end of that introduction. So I thought this was really cool. Not really. Temple of Jade Serpent, very it's kind of I mean, it wasn't a very good dungeon, let's be real, but seeing all the Shah mobs, especially the Shah of Doubt, because whenever I first saw the Shah of Doubt in the Jade Forest, it was like one of the leveling up quests. I was just like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? I mean, this looked really, really cool, especially when they're really, really big. Why the Shah of Doubt is so small in the dungeon version is beyond me. But still, I think this boss alone makes the dungeon look really, really cool, even though overall it wasn't a good dungeon, I'm not going to lie. Next one on my list is Ragefight Chasm. Again, not a very good dungeon, but it is technically the first dungeon in WoW. Like, if you're Horde, you get Ragefight Chasm. If you're Alliance, I suppose you get Dead Mines, because it's, you know, it's right there in your leveling way. Ragefight Chasm, it just feels right. Like, you're in the very belly of Orgrimmar. You got all these renegade orcs that are, you know, doing all this sort of dark shit. And I vaguely remember when it was the original version. I do like the original version better, but I'm honestly not too fussed about it. And the big Hulk guy bursting out at the end was really funny. Why the Alliance in there, or how the Alliance got there, is also beyond me. Skyreach, just overall a shit dungeon. I should probably put this dungeon low on the list, but the main reasons why this dungeon is on the list this far down is because of the Wind Maze. I mean, we'll get to the Wind Maze in a second, but the Dread Ravens, oh my god. I mean, this was in, you only saw these guys in Challenge Mode and Mythic, because later on in the expansion they brought out Mythic level dungeons. And I think that was the first time that they started adding that to it. But if you don't know what the Dread Ravens are, they just do this annoying throw up and then sort of knock back. You can just get knocked back into other mobs. It was just super fucking terrible. The Wind Maze as well was really annoying. I mean, yeah, there were certain classes that could sort of cheese it, but just overall blah. As well as the birds trying to peck you. I have actually died a few times back in Warlords due to those fucking birds. Oh my god. Neat idea. It's just not very fun. I just don't like doing the wind maze, especially on a team that can't like make it go faster, like a warrior or a hunter or something. It's just no. This dungeon is just too far down. UBRS. I'm gonna say that the current version of the Warlords Adrenal version was better. Again, this is actually back-to-back Warlords dungeons, I just realised. Both versions are very average. But the last boss area with the massive iron star and it's gonna bomb Stormwind was a really cool idea, and it looked really, really cool. I mean, you're in the heart of the Blackrock Mountain, pretty much. This is well it's the inside area where you can fly up into. But the first boss and the fourth boss just got super old, super quick because of the forced gated time of the mechanics. So like the first boss you got to deactivate the orbs or something to get rid of his damage reduction, and then the fourth boss you just got to wait for him to land pretty much before you can kill him, so that didn't really help at all. Slayfans, again, very average dungeon. It does have a skippable boss in here as well, although people do tend to kill it on time walking, but this boss you just never killed in Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King. Even though it's like a huge fucking crab, it looks really, really cool, I'm not gonna lie. It's nice. Skyreach is just bottom of the list. So, same thing with the Bloodhole slave mines. It does feel like a slave pens. You know, you've got all these weird looking prison things. You've got you know, the overseers and the Naga overseers and all such, and then you got the as you can see right now, I got the lightsaber off of that boss, which is funny. I've been farming that for a while. So that was yeah, just no, not really. Underbog, decent-ish dungeon, but I never did like any of those like bug creatures, like the nether rays, the wasps, and even the swamp giants, whatever they're called. I'm sure they have names, I just don't know. But when I first saw it, and I saw a big fucking hydra in the pool, I was like, wow, that looks really good. And I know this doesn't happen anymore, but if you waited for him, which no one ever did, he would just slowly walk up the ramp, and if you waited long enough, he would go up into that middle platform, which I thought was really cool. You could get to fight him on the middle sort of platform area. But again, no one ever did that, so that just really killed it for me. Set the Calls. Set the Calls was okay. The second half of the dungeon was far better than the first half for multiple different reasons. And no, I'm not just talking about the Raven Lord, but the Talon King was quite a good boss, and it really persuades you to use line of sight mechanics. I know that mechanic was used a bit too much, like while you were going through it as, say, I don't know if it's a time walking dungeon, but going through as a leveling dungeon, it was quite cool. Utgard Keep, it was an okay opening dungeon for Wrath of the Lich King. The trash was very average. The bosses though were just kind of boring, especially the second and third boss. I do like how they use Prince Kelseth, one of the Sandland princes, which we'll later see in the Oscaran Citadel. Like, all his mechanics up, they're okay, but those last two bosses are just kind of meh. One thing I didn't realise is that you could use the pillars on the last boss platform to line of sight the roar, which no one ever did really, because whatever that roar did to you, it put a debuff on you or something. It didn't really matter. It would just die before it became a problem. End Time. I should have actually had this higher up on my list, but the main reason why this one is so far down is because of that last boss. It just wasn't really that fun. I mean, I get the idea that they've got this big hourglass and you can use them to make the fight easier, like remove all the puddles, which are really fucking annoying. I think just people used it, as Preacher said in his video, just to maintain cooldowns, which wasn't really a good idea. But the echo of Bane and Jaina in particular were really cool, or especially the echo of Bane, because they're in the different dragon shrines, and Bane on the Obsidian Dragon Shrine with the different platforms, he would smash the different platforms, was really, really cool, and you could stand in the fire to gain sort of a DPS increase. Vault of the Wardens. There are multiple good and bads for Vault of the Wardens, but overall it wasn't a very good dungeon in Legion. The opening part and seeing the carnage left behind by the Eladai was very, very cool to see. Even the, what is it, the Eladai name? Is it, oh shit, Bastilax? I don't even know. It's the big dread Eladai lord that you fight at the end. He looks kind of like Archimond. Where you just he's just in the way of escaping the Vault of the Wardens. And I remember doing that quest line. It was really, really fun. And I did like the, what is it, the Eye of Alone? Or was it like Eye of the Wardens? You being able to use the eye to see in the dark, otherwise you can't kill the mobs, was a really cool idea. Don't get me wrong, but in theory I don't think people played it very well. As well as in Pugs, people have no idea how to use the eye, which was really frustrating because it played a big role in the last boss fight, because you needed to use the eye to clear the platform and to spot where the ghost was, or like the ghost of the boss was. Again, cool idea, just didn't play out very well. Stormstar Brewery, not the greatest dungeon in Pandaria, but there are some good things about it. It was a very random dungeon. Like, the theme of it really, it switches in an instant. So you start off by killing a bunch of Hosen, which eventually spawns the Ook Ook, and that became a meme very quickly, I will say. So yeah, it just switches randomly. You go off and fighting Hosen, and then kill the first boss, and then instantly you'll find like an army of vermin. You kill its mother or whatever, and then you're fighting elementals. While that last boss was cool with the different mechanics, I should put that away. With the different mechanics, it wasn't that good. I was gonna say. Hour of Twilight. I'm gonna have two more dungeons, or one more dungeon after this. Hour of Twilight, again, not the greatest dungeon, but I do like the fact that it's set right before the Dragon Soul raid, I believe, because the guys that are making the run to get the Dragon Soul safely to the aspects, which I thought could have played a little bit better, but the run from that Moor thing to the bottom of the temple was really, really cool, especially with the last boss, Archbishop Benedictus. If only he had more health so you could really see the entire fight, because at the end of the expansion people were just zerging it down, like you couldn't see the fight for as long as you want to, which is a real shame, because that also last boss is really, really cool. And the other cool thing is seeing all the different NPCs that you've been seeing while leveling. So you got Torn Winterbluff, Stormcaller Jalora, Hargothden, Blazing Earth Caller, Turnscar. I'm not looking at this, by the way, I'm just remembering their names. And then they're getting picked off slowly one by one by the forces of N'Zoth. It was a really cool idea. It just didn't play out very, very well. Apart from the last boss, obviously. The last boss was really cool. The last one I'm going to have for this video is the Shattered Halls. It just takes far too fucking long. And the trash really sucks. I mean, it was a cool jumping out down into the sewer and then just coming out onto the boss. It was like, surprise, bitch. The bosses were actually really cool, especially even the heroic only boss, whatever it's called, the Blood Guard or something. You know, you got the first boss with, he does the perma whirlwind below 30%, which is just annihilates your melee. Which becomes a very anti-melee, it's just a very general anti-melee mechanic, which really sucks. I have died to that a couple of times on time walking, which isn't fun. And then the idea that you've got like a whole garrison of orcs training for whatever looked really, really cool. But the boss, sorry, not the bosses, the trash was quite annoying, and they were hit really hard. So This is probably one of the hardest dungeons next to maybe Alcatraz, in the Burning Crusade. It even still is on time walking, just because of how low your gear is scaled to. And even the two-headed ogre was really, really cool. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I'm going to make the next part in maybe the next week. I'm getting kind of busy with all the raid videos which I've been posting recently, as well as organising the guild anniversary event. So that just takes up a lot of my time as well as work. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.